So here we are at West Coast Brewers, the home brewing club in Perth. Absolutely fantastic night. We've got Vicky Drury here. She happens to be the first lady of the club's president's wife. In basically, otherwise, she might as well be the president, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. One thing about the club is they run competitions. And Vicky, you've won a competition.
I did.
Yes.
Only my second one.
Got
third place for my category 5B traditional bock. It's only my second brew.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a little bit of help getting it sorted with my husband, being the brewer. Did all the work and that, and it's come out the tree. I've showed it to the boys.
Yeah,
so yeah, it's really.
Is that one of the main reasons why you started brewing?
Yes and no. There was that behind it to try and get the boys brewing and more entries into the club competitions.
Yes.
But I just watch my husband do it all the time, and it's like, oh, he's out there brewing, and yeah, I'm going to get out there. Our children actually get out there and watch him as well, right, and tell him what to do next. So yeah, just a bit of family sort of thing.
Right,
as well.
absolutely.
So,
Yep, for sure.
Keeps us all together.
Yep.
So.
And so you obviously enjoy brewing because you've won a third place. Tell us a little bit about the club.
Well, we've been part of the club for 5 years now. I think this is his second or third year as president. It's really grown. We try to get more people involved with family events as well. Yes. Like we've had an October event last year with the family, and it was a great success. So we've got more people wanting to come back. We had another family event this year where your kids come along. We organise babysitters to help, so that the kids are there, parents can sort of relax a bit, but still know where the kids are. And it just makes the community a lot stronger within the club. I think we dropped off. The membership was really low when we first sort of came along. And now it's really up there.
Sure.
So, you've seen tonight.
Yeah, full house. Yes. So how many members are there, just off the top of your head?
I don't know off the top of my head. The boys can deal with that. The only time I know is when we've got to cater for something. So yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Great. Thanks very much, Vicky. And you'd like to see a few more women in the club?
Oh, definitely. We do have a couple of female members, financial members. So yeah, we'd like to get more women interested in brewing, and maybe
some first, second, and thirds.
Yeah,
there you go.
Really give it to the boys.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. If you're a lady and you like your beer, or even if you just like the whole idea behind brewing, come on down. The club meets once a month, and check out their website. The link's on our webpage. So tell me, Jeremy, what are some of the benefits of being in a homebrew club?
Honestly, I think the best part of being in a homebrew club is honest feedback on your beers.
Yeah.
Everyone's encouraged to bring in a glass to try people's beers.
Yes.
You bring in your own beer, and the great thing is you give beer to your mates. It's free beer. They're always going to say it's good. But here at the club, we've got 6 qualified beer judges, including myself, and a whole bunch of other homebrewers, each giving each other honest feedback. There's also some beginners classes, things like that, information sessions, and there's just so much information, so much opportunities for learning. And to be honest, there's a social aspect of the club as well. We do meet outside of meetings as well, and it's a great community of people. So you do brew days, competitions? Absolutely. Well, the biggest thing we have going on this year currently is a club barrel project. We've brewed 200 litres of Belgian strong malt ale, which is currently being aged in a sweet white wine barrel. Should be very yummy.
Very interesting, yeah. And that's it, you just don't get an opportunity to do that if you were brewing at home, unless you had the finances to have a cool room and everything else. So, yeah, come on down to well, this is West Coast Brewers. There are a couple of other places around WA, so look out for them. Yeah, absolutely. West Coast Brewers, absolutely fantastic.
we're about to go see how he went with the second half of our beer tasting. We've got 3 totally different beer styles to taste.
Yep. Stay tuned. Okay, all you beer drinkers out there, I bet you're wondering why we're drinking a red to a pink beer. We haven't gone back to the bad old days of snake bites with a shot of grenadine in our beer. So what is this one, Jeremy?
Hey, what we have here is a Kriek beer. Kriek is Belgian for cherry. So what we have is an entirely different category of beer. We've gone through a lager, a couple of ales. Now this is actually a lambic, which is a spontaneously fermented beer. No yeast is added. It's fermented using only yeast that's in the air.
Okay, so from Marlon's Home Brewing, you would have seen that we were talking about watching out for those wild yeasts and cross-contaminations because it can cause problems within your beers. These ones are actually just using those wild yeasts and benefiting from those yeasts.
Absolutely. There's very little bitterness in the lambic beers, but if you have a taste, what you're going to get there is sourness instead, coming from that spontaneous fermentation of the wild yeasts.
You can taste the cherries.
Definitely a big cherry flavour.
That sourness is, that sourness has certainly replaced the bitterness.
That's right. Yeah. So it's balance of sour, sweet, the cherry flavour, and a little bit of flavour from the oak barrels as well.
Okay, right. Yeah, no, that's a really interesting one. I'd certainly recommend trying it. If nothing else, just to experience what wild yeast can actually do to a beer.
What we have next is actually another lager, believe it or not.
Okay.
So lagers aren't only pale, light-coloured beers.
Yep.
Traditionally, lagers generally were always brown. It's only since the 1800s that golden lager was
Sure.
around. So basically what we have here is a German-style dark lager.
Okay.
Not as full-bodied and roasty as a stout. You're not going to get that burnt flavour you do from a stout. More of a toasty, malty, slightly bready sort of flavour.
Okay.
Not much hops. It's all about the malt.
Okay, sure. Oh yeah, you can really pick it up. It's
Almost like a baking rye bread sort of aroma you're getting off this one.
Yeah.
It's another beer that's really, really good with food. Roasted meats.
It's nice. Yeah.
Could easily replace a red wine with a dinner.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, I like it. It's almost for those of the people that aren't quite ready to try a porter or a stout, this could be a good introduction into those more maltier flavours.
Absolutely,
Yep.
very
Yep.
malty, but without that burnt bite.
Okay, sure. Fantastic. Right, now on to one of my favourites, the stouts. A lot of people probably tried a stout when they were first drinking beers, but jumping from a lager, as you can see the colour, jumping from a lager straight to a stout, it's a bit of a bold move by most people, isn't it?
It is, and there's so much, as you can see, in between they could be trying first before they take that plunge. And I think a lot of people do get put off very early.
Yes.
First point I'd like to make out, there's a bit of a misconception about stouts. A lot of people seem to assume with that black colour that they're all strong, high alcohol beers with a lot of flavour and a bit too full on for a lot of people. This, believe it or not, is actually the lowest in alcohol out of all the beers we have in front of us.
There you go.
So it's a session beer.
Yep, good session beer.
The stout category is very, very broad, right down from what we have here, which is an Irish dry stout at about 4%, which is actually very light-bodied and refreshing. Has that burnt sort of roastiness as well. Then you can go right through in the stout category through to imperial stouts, which are 10% plus, and you're getting into a lot of
some of
dark
those
fruits.
Baltic imperial and stuff like that. Well, they're more the porters, but you've got the imperial stouts as well. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yep. Mother's milk.
Yeah.
I like the stouts. Yeah,
It's it's an easy drinker.
absolutely. Right, Jeremy, we've got a lot more tasting to do.
Yes, we do.
Tune in next week for more of what we get up to. But first, we'd like to thank Matt and all his staff down here at the quarry. See you soon.